Good morning everyone. Here again this video is on about average speed. So let me tell you a simple way to find out how we can find an average speed. Look at your question number 16 and I have a question here. A car covers 2/5 of total distance with the velocities or the speed v1 and 3/5 of the distance with the v2, then average speed is. So here we have an options like this. So let me tell you the general method how to solve that and how to get that one. So here in one of the textbook I have written as a 16 question. So what they had given? Firstly let me write the given data. What I am going to do here? The given data. So what they had given is, let me represent in a diagrammatical form. Let it be A to B. The total distance be D, as you heard earlier. So the total distance is D. And they had taken 2/5 of the distance. So let me like this. 2/5 of the distance, that means of D. And the next is 3/5 of the distance. Let it be D1 and this is as D2. So here the total distance from A to B is D. And they had given that the 2/5 of the distance be the D1 and 3/5 of the distance be D2. Actually they had given here, if a car covers, what they had given, if a car covers 2/5 of the total distance with a v1 speed and 3/5 of a distance with a v2, then average speed is. Here if you can look out carefully, if you observe carefully, if you listen carefully, what you can find is they had given distance and speed, distance and speed, but they are asking to find average speed. So let me go back to this. So they had given the first distance was travelled with a velocity v1, the second distance was covered with a velocity v2. And what's your finding term is? Your finding term is average speed. Average speed. So now, average speed is equals to question mark. What's the formula we have? Here we have only one formula. We have to remember this. Unless you remember the formula, we can't go for any problem. So speed is equals to total distance by total time taken. Total distance by total time taken. Time taken to cover the distance, whatever it may be. Total time taken. And now, so in general, in a mathematical form, we will write like this. D1 plus D2 by T1 plus T2. Here I took only 2 because we had the distance has been divided into 2. One is 2/5 and 3/5. So in the place of D and D2s, I can write 2/5 D1 D plus 3/5 D by T1 plus T2. Here the question starts. What is about T1 and T2? What we can substitute in the place of T1, T2 so that we can get average speed. So let me write it aside. Here what we know, general formula for speed. Speed is equals to distance by time. Distance by time. And now from this, what is time is equals to? Time is equals to distance by speed. Nothing else. If you go through any video or any problem, whatever it may be, the constant thing is average speed is equals to total time by total time taken. And the next, the speed is equals to distance by time. We all have to use this formula. Unless we use this formula, we are not going to get any answer. So simple thing is, from the formula, we need to interchange the speed and the time. We will get distance by speed. So we want T1 and T2s. In the place of T, let us write T1 and we can write D1 by V1. First the second one, T2 is equals to D2 by V2. In the place of D, what we can write? As they are given, 3/5 D by V1. So then it is 3/5 by D V2. And now let me substitute the same. So it is 2/5. So let me take the LCM. Here 5 is common. 2D plus 3D by, in the place of T1, what we can write? 2/5 D by V1 plus 3/5 D by V2. So let me turn the page. And here what we got? Average speed is equals to, wherever you find this kind of problem, we can use this method. And I will tell you at last the shortest method how to find this. What's the trick we have to use to find? So here we got 2 plus 2d plus 3d plus 2d. We got 5d by 5 by what we had here? Here we had 2d by 5v1 plus 2d by 5v2. And now take the LCM at the denominator. Here we have 5 get cancelled. Then what is left? D by 2d. Here let me take a 5v1 v2 as LCM. So here we have not had any v2. So let us multiply with v2. And then here we are not having v1. Then it is 2 into v1. Now what you can find? Send this denominator to denominator to the numerator. So here it is d into 5v1 v2 by, here you can find 2d as common. So take this common out. Then you can write 2d as common, then v2 plus v1. Now here d are common here. So let me cancel that. Here it is 3. And then we get not 2, it is 2 v2 and 3 v1. So now it is 5 v1 v2 by 2 v2 plus 3 v1. Same, if you can change this, you can write 5 v1 v2 by 3 v1 plus 2 v2. Now let me tell you the short trick. So what we had, before we had, here we have a to b, and let me take the distance c. It is 2 by 5 of d and it is 3 by 5 of d. It is v1 and it is v2. General formula for average speed is what it is? Average speed is equals to total distance by total time taken. Total distance by total time taken. Now it is. So we can write, instead of writing this, let me take the total distance. What's the total distance we have? D. Okay. Instead of using this formula, what I can write is, here we have v1, v2. For v1 we have 2 by 5 d and for it is 3 by 5 d. So what's the denominator we have here? 5. Let me write 5 here. What's the denominator we have? The common denominator is 5. Let me write 5 and multiply these two, v1, v2 at denominator. So here v1 2 by 5. So instead of v1, let us cross multiply this. v1 into 3, 3v1 plus v2 into 2, 2v2. I think the same we got here, isn't it? It is a simple way to find out. Let me tell you one more time. It is v1. v1 is for 2 by 5 of d. It is v2 for 3 by 5 of d. And now, what's the denominator we have here? Write the same. Average speed is equals to, we need to write 5 here, whatever the denominator we have 5, and multiply these two, v1, v2 by, and now cross multiply, v2 into 2, 2v2, v1 into 3, then it is 3v1, then it is 5v1 v2 by 3v1 plus 2v2. This is a way to find out the average speed when they had given. Let me check whether the answer is there or not. See here also the same. 5v1 v2 by 3v1 plus 2v2. This is all we got how to find the average speed.